Hey guys, how are you? Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday, right? Happy Tuesday. I'm excited to be here and I'm excited if you guys are here with me. So just say hi on this fabulous day. So I know y'all like, what's going on with Paris? I don't know if you guys noticed I locked my hair, right? Okay. Not that it's that important, but the point is that I was like, I don't know if I can wear my hats anymore. And so I pushed myself to try it. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I think it's still cute. Let's see, whatever. I wore it because that's what I wanted to do. And so I did. So um I'm happy that I'm here with y'all today and I'm excited that we're gonna get this conversation going. I am sharing, so I would like you guys to share too. Let me know you here in the room. And we're gonna get going really quickly because actually it's really not gonna be extremely long live. Hey Raven girl. Thank you, cuz. Listen, I took the leap for my birthday and I'm like, I wonder if anybody know because I always wear these type of hairstyles anyway, but I'm like, it's official. So I love them and I'm still getting used to them, but I love them. So thank you. Honestly, I hope this glare from the glasses are not gonna be too much. It's so funny. It's not even a Zoom light today, it's the light on my computer. Just so ridiculous. Some days it doesn't matter, some days it does. So I'm gonna try to tilt the screen. I don't know. I'm keeping my glasses on, so hopefully it's part of my outfit, guys. Hopefully the glasses I can figure the glare out, right? So it's funny if anybody saw what I kind of was talking about, what I said I was going to talk about today. It is probably like, oh God, one. Here's another one talking about the social media thing, but it's not what you think. About Facebook going down, Instagram going down the other day, and it's so funny because you get people saying, they're on one or the other side of it. One part is like, oh my God, it was down. Oh my God, it's crazy. The other part was, I didn't even notice it was down. No big deal. You guys should have a life. And whatever side of this you were on, it was very telling. Even if you thought you were telling, um, or you were revealing one thing about it, sometimes I could, people can see through that too. Like there were some people like, oh, you guys are all social media. And I'm like, but I see you on social media the most. Right. So we have to be very careful how we represent. Listen, social media is not the devil, right? It's just how you use it, how you can control your time and what you use it for, and how you let it affect you. Um, so I really want to talk about that in depth today. Today, I really feel like, as much as I didn't want to just drive the nail in the ground about it, I really felt like it was an important conversation, and um, I would be doing less than my best to avoid the conversation, right? So, yes, that's what we're talking about today. So let me give you some background for the people who were under a rock and did not know. And if you didn't know, that's okay too. Social media, uh, big boys, Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp all went down. Not yesterday. Yesterday was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Yeah, they went down yesterday for I think about 8 hours. And it was something with the DNS server. I don't even know what the official report was, but it was everything. Everybody was reporting on it. Um, if you didn't know what was going on, you probably were refreshing, and didn't know what's going on. And I think a couple of things happened that I don't think that we were ready to talk about, but I'm going to talk about. Um, and one of the things that I feel like we need to talk about is let's talk about actual social media consumption, right? This is not a judgy conversation because let's be clear, if that was the case, I would have to raise my hand and say that I, Paris Johnson, spend too much time on social media, and I am aware of that. Um, so I'm not here to judge anybody, but I believe this is how we have this conversation. It's a healthy thing to have these conversations because honestly, if we avoid them, we won't figure out how to deal with it. And so this conversation is not just about Facebook, Instagram going down. It's about how social media affects your mental health. That's why I'm talking about it, right? Um, and I know the average person is going to say, "Oh, that's for little kids. That's for teenagers that, let it be affect them, but it's not for us." And I beg to differ. I think you're telling yourself that to make it sound like you're so much mature and you understand that it's just social media and it's not reality. And I just don't believe that we separate things as well as we say we do, right? We might tell our brain, we might say, "Hey, brain, tell yourself this," but in our heart, we don't really believe those same things, right? So I am definitely coming to kind of confront your thoughts. Let this be a conversation, guys. Like, tell me your thoughts. Like, so let's start off with a couple things. Does social media really have the ability to affect your mental health? Absolutely, 100%, unequivocally, yes, right? And you might say, "How so, Paris? Like, come on, we're adults. We know we're not being bullied or whatever. How could this possibly contribute to my social media?" Well, I'm glad to my mental health. And I'm glad you're asking me that. One of the biggest things that I feel like I want to bring up about this is the fact that we kind of use this as a tool in our arsenal for living. And I know you're thinking that's very vague, but let me tell you why, because I think it's can be used a couple of different ways. We use this when we're bored. Come on with me, y'all. We use this when we're supposed to be on the way to bed. And we just like, "Oh, let me just check it real quick." We're supposed to be asleep 2-3 hours ago on the social media. We wake up and we check it first thing in the morning. Every time we go to the bathroom, we have to have our phones. You would darn near turn around if you 45 minutes for work, if you left your phone at home, uh, with your, social media on it. You People get real live upset if somebody doesn't like their post. So much to so people make comments like, "If you're gonna be on my page and don't like my post, then I don't even understand the reason we're friends." And I'm always like, I give this look like, wow, that's serious to you, that it really is important to you that everybody likes your post. Okay. So that person puts a lot, and I'm not making fun of anybody. That just tells me a person puts a lot of value into what people do, their activity on social media, right? And also, let's go into another thing. You People even look at who likes other people's posts. I've had somebody say, "Hey, you like that person posted, you didn't like mine." Like it becomes a real like driver of conversations and intentionality. And people really get tied up in that. Yeah, Yolanda, I'm sure you've seen that before. Like, it becomes a real thing. Let me talk about also how it take up your time, and it becomes a tool in your arsenal. You also use it when you're uncomfortable somewhere. So if you're somewhere and you feel out of place, so you feel like it's like an awkward silence, what's the first thing you do? You go to your phone and you start looking. And so instead of back in the day when you would have to deal with that awkward silence, figure out what you were going to do, adjust to it accordingly. Now you use that and you don't have to adjust. You can kind of dive into social media as a way to avoid that awkwardness. I even thought about it the other day when we were talking about social anxiety, and I didn't even think about it. Oh my God, the phone is the number one thing people use for social anxiety when they're out. If they feel very awkward in a social environment, it's right to my phone because I can escape there. I can pretend like you guys don't exist. And in my mind, I'm having a whole party in this phone that is far more entertaining, far more comfortable to me. When I'm here, I am not confronted. If I say the right thing, I'm not confronted with the fact that, somebody take what I said wrong. I'm not confronted with meeting new people. I can let my anxiety ease a bit by using that time to deep dive into my phone. And I'm not saying this is right or wrong. I'm just saying this is how we use it. I include it, right? I've been places before where not comfortable in the moment, and I'm like, let me just take my phone out, because if nothing else, I can play a game on my phone, get on social media and see what's going on. And now all of a sudden, I am not uncomfortable anymore. While I don't think it's a complete horrible thing to have that from time to time, I also think it is taking away our social skills. Have you ever been to a party and everybody takes their phone out and everybody is literally on their phone at the party? I mean, literally. I mean, you try to talk and people will actually send messages. I've heard somebody tell me at the high school, the kids would literally be across from the school and across from each other, and they would send messages, then walk up and talk to each other. And it's just like, I know sometimes like we would, like if we're trying to get away from a guy and I don't want to talk to him, let me tell my girl to come over here and distract me. But I mean, legit having a whole conversation across the room instead of actually walking up to somebody. So you can see how this takes away some of that social interaction. Um, yeah, I'm telling you, it's a real thing that we don't talk about enough. And we think it's just the kids, but it is not. This, I see grown people doing it. And I'll be honest, I'll raise my hand. I've been in socially awkward moments when I'm like, you know what? Instead of me thugging this out, let me go ahead and get my phone and let me dive into it. So I'm just out. Or like somebody's talking to me and I really just don't want to talk to them and they're not getting the hint. And I've been as kind as I can. Oh, you know what? I have to make this phone call. I've even said stuff like that before. I'm sorry in advance for that. But I'm just being honest because it's something that we can use. And again, I'm not saying this is completely bad. It's just a matter of how often we use it. And if this is, are we using it so much so that it's in place of our social interaction? Social media was something that was revolutionary when it started back a while ago. Let's see, I don't even want to say what I think the first things were, but let's see. When I was in college in '99, I want to say that the first things of social media that I'm remembering is like MySpace. There used to be Yahoo chat rooms. There was Black Planet, stuff like that. And I know Facebook came, but I didn't get on Facebook too much longer after because I'm like, I'm not going to be diving from one platform to another. It just didn't seem like it made sense to me. So I was reluctant at first until the world started going to a point where there was no avoiding social media. Like you literally were missing out on literal things if you were not connected. Not because you had to be cool, but because the world literally that people made real announcements. People announced they were getting married on social media. People announced that they were having a baby on social media. People announced deaths on social media. So it became a thing with, especially if these are like platforms where you have a lot of friends, family, close people, you end up keeping up with important events. And therefore you feel like if you're not on there, you can miss out. I've known people to send me real life invitations through social media where if I wasn't on there, I guess I didn't get it. I know people who have even, I've been guilty of that before. I remember I threw a party for my birthday one year. And so I said, hey, I sent it to your social media. It's like, oh, I don't check my social media. You should send it to me, on my phone. And I wasn't thinking that. I'm like, everybody's on social media now. But yeah, if someone's not active on social media, they literally can miss out on some things. So when that started happening, when that became a real part of our life, I don't think that we actually we really talked about how it affected us. My friend Lynn, I had her on here twice. She's a psychologist. And one of the things I think she said she's her title is a media psychologist. And I'm going to tag her in this video because I wanted her to talk about this more, but I just wanted to kind of address it while it was hot on the presses. I know she was telling me a lot about how social media has influenced our culture so much so that it's a whole major. People have to study it. There's a lot of research behind it to kind of show the trends of how it's affect our society. It used to be where like celebrities and politicians were people that, were in the Hollywood lights, and people checked for and they cared about what they were doing. But now you have a whole new group of people that's come up, and it's called social media influencers. And honestly, these people are not to, I mean, I think before, people in Hollywood and people in big time, they really ignored these people, said, oh, this is a, it's a fly by night, nobody cares, it's not going to be a big deal, until you realize these are people who have longevity. These are people that actually do have influencers. Some of these people have a million plus, 2 million, 6 million people following them or more. And so they do have influence, whether you want to admit it or not. There are little kids that have YouTube channels where they literally review toys. They have like the coolest little job ever. I get to open up a toy and tell you if I like it or not. And people watch me and they pay me money to do it. There are people that eat food. They love to eat food, and they have a channel where they're eating food and they get paid to do it. So people or people literally talk about their opinions. They just talk about how they think about everything. I used to think my son was the craziest person ever back in the day when he used to watch people playing with toys, or he used to watch people playing the video games. I'm like, so you're gonna watch the person play the video game, and this is what you're gonna spend your time doing. And then I started seeing people review TV shows, and like, so people are going to watch the TV show for me, and then I'm going to watch them to think about what they think. And I used to think it was so crazy, but then I get it. People are wanting this experience, and I believe that this experience, this is going to sound crazy when I say it, sometimes does replace that human interaction. Yes, reaction videos. Oh yes, an ASMR. Oh my God, that's such a big thing, and people think it's so weird, but I understand that really also has a lot to do with anxiety, and people don't even realize it's even a mental health thing. A lot of people that go to ASMR, that is a relief thing for their anxiety. So yeah, you get a lot of different things from social media, but the reality of it is that you don't even realize that people are filling in the gaps of what they don't have in their life with social media. And when I say people, I have done it too. Look, I'm gonna be the realest I can be. I will never pretend like it's you and not me. It's all of us. We have all used it to some way to a crutch. It's ingrained in our life, and if we pretend like it's not, unless you're just somebody that's completely off the grid, the reality, it is a part of our life, and it shows up. So sometimes when you're bored, you can sit on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram all night. You can literally be on here all night and entertained. And so while that is a way to have something else to do, what it also can do is it could be a trap to you believing that you don't need real social interaction, right? And then it becomes a crutch, right? And then it becomes something that if you already have high anxiety, if you already have social anxiety, if you already have relationship issues, you can, and I'm talking about between like family or relationship issues with friends or romantic relationship issues, instead of dealing with those issues, you throw yourself into this as a distraction, a form of escapism, right? Just the same way as if you hurt, you drink too much, or if you hurt, you do drugs, or you do something to try to numb the pain. People can use social media now as a similar thing. Ask me how I know. Again, I'm not exempt, right? The difference is sometimes you go so deep, and if you don't have somebody, you said the right thing, Yolanda, you have to regain mind control of that. And that's the thing. That's like the best answer that you can say. But the reality is that once you are there, it's so easy to get locked up there, right? It's so easy to get stuck. And especially if you don't have a accountability type of thing. TikTok started doing something recently that I like. And I think what it is that, and I think they started it kind of for the kids or for the teenagers, but it's even helpful for me. If you've been scrolling for a while, it'll say it'll pop up this video that says, hey, you've been scrolling for a while, and I'm sure that you like the content, but maybe you should take a break, and maybe you should go and do something else. And I love that they're doing that, because that's socially responsible, reminding people that, hey, you probably meant to get on here for 5 minutes and you've been on for an hour. You probably meant to get on here for like 20 minutes and you've been on here for 2 or 3 hours, right? And so it's like this check of reality, because let's be clear, there's, especially during the pandemic, OMG, when we had to be isolated inside the house, I really believe that people have literally just got used to the idea of not having to interact with people. Some people adjusted to the idea, some people weren't doing it anyway, and some people, now that they have more anxiety, this is their go-to. So again, I'm not going to be here to demonize social media on any level. Like, that's not what I'm doing. I'm here to point out how much we use it, how even us not having for a day, how it affects lives. I even saw that, I think someone said, I don't even know the numbers, I don't want to quote them wrong, but something like in the millions of dollars worth of ads were lost that day. And that should just even explain to you how important it is. If you didn't think it was, you thought you were just browsing, you don't even realize how much people are paying, how much corporations are paying, how many small businesses are paying money every day, every hour, to get their stuff advertised, because they know that when people are scrolling, they are can be influenced to buy things. I mean, oh my God, it's a couple of it's a couple of what's that called? It's a couple of ads that come up regularly for me. And I'm just like, they show me more of these videos, but it's like they target their audience. They say, oh, this is who I want to see, this is that, and they just blast you, and they figure they're gonna wear you down till you eventually try it. And the reality of it is, that's how marketing works. And they understand that Facebook is, and Instagram, and all of these, TikTok, all of these are platforms that really do capture people's attention. So if you want to reach people, you're going to do better than a TV. It used to be a point your TV commercial was the best thing. You're going to do better advertising on social media than you are on TV. If I had to look at those like advertisements and the turnover and the conversion rate, I bet you that it's better on social media than it is on TV right now. For real, seriously. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Yolanda, you said kids were loving it. Yeah, kids were loving TikTok, but listen, now adults are. I see more adults on TikToks than I do kids. Listen, I even have a platform on TikTok. Like, it's a real thing. You can really scale what you're trying to say. And I realized, and I stayed away from TikTok for a long time because I thought it was just dancing and just fooling around. So I realized people really had messages on there. So, that's important to realize that too, right? Let's see. You said if it's not social media, people are texting and not actually talking on the phone. That's a big thing too. Oh my God, the text culture where people are texting instead of talking on the phone. But let me tell you something, that also came from social media. People would rather talk to people through Messenger, send a message through social media, text, anything where I can just kind of avoid the having to talk to you. I know people that prefer it all the time, and I hate it. I am very much a phone person. I'm even more in person, right? I want to be physically in front of you, but you do what you have to do. I had to adapt to the text thing. I remember when I was at a job and the person who worked for me, they called off using a text message, and I remember about to fire them. Let me tell you something. I almost fired them that day. And I said, well, maybe before I fired him, let me ask my boss what he thinks about it. And he was like, oh, it's no big deal. I've had other people work for me that have texted to call off. And I'm like, what? And I just couldn't believe it. And that's like, again, a culture shift. I just thought that was the most unprofessional thing you could do. I mean, if you're going to call off, do me the courtesy the bare minimum of calling me and saying to me, hey, I'm not going to be here today. But just to text it just seems so informal. But I had to realize, guess what? This is the way the world is shifting to. And it's unfortunate. Again, get away from social interaction, more into the passive interaction, right? It's so funny. I did something really bad before, and I feel bad about it. I remember a relative of mine who was like, hey, I miss you. I haven't seen you in a while. We need to catch up. And I said, I was just talking to you the other day. They said, we have not talked in a long time. I said, yes, we did. I know what's going on. I said, you doing this and that, you moving this and that. And she said, girl, you just told me everything that I put on social media. And I realized in that moment, I thought that I was connected and close to her because I would like her videos. I would put on there, oh, so cute. Oh, I miss y'all. I would say stuff like that, but I had not picked the phone up to call her. We had not went out to lunch. We had not, saw each other at a family event. And she had to be the one who pointed it out to me. And I was embarrassed, low-key embarrassed, because in my mind, I'm watching you, what you put on social media, your timeline, and I feel like I'm interacting with you. And yes, that's better than nothing, but it's also not real full interaction. You can like somebody's statuses, you can be checking on them, and they still feel very alone. And people don't post everything. Like I know I don't. I definitely don't post everything that's going on in my life. So if you waiting for social media to tell you what's going on in my life, baby, you gonna miss it. So I had to realize, okay, this is not real life. We have to still interact and be around and be intentional about the people that we want to be in our lives. And just because we see what they're doing on social media doesn't mean that we know anything. Oh, and this is another good point you had, Yolanda. You said they're watching what you do on internet. Always, always. They track this information. Come on, listen. They track all your stuff. How many times have they leak our stuff out? It's just what it is at this point. And you just be careful about that too, because people have lost jobs because of what they say and what they do on social media. And so you can't hide, even though people do get away with stuff for a long period of time. But that's why you have them called keyboard gangsters, right? You got people that say stuff that they would never say in real life on social media because they think they can get away with it, right? So again, that's sense of not a reality. I can do things and not really have to deal with it. I can look at things that I really can not have to. I won't have to have anybody judge me about. I can be a part of things that I don't have to really speak about. So definitely, it definitely creates like this sub atmosphere, this sub part of your life that we can't ignore. Let's see. And I think that that's just, again, I'm not bashing social media. I'm on it, right? But I will say, I have an idea, and I've done this before. I feel like I want us to do some homework, and I think this is not school, but this is just stuff that I think can help everybody. And whether you think you abuse social media, or if you don't, or if you don't have thoughts about it, we have to be really conscious about the fact and self-aware that it affects all of us. So to act as though this is not a problem for you or it has never been a problem, you're being naive. Sorry, but not sorry. So I would just challenge you to do these couple of things. Thing number one, assess how much you're on social media. If you have an iPhone, I know iPhone, oh, I used to hate it. Oh my God. It used to pop this thing up saying, you spent this many hours on social media this week. And I used to annoy me at first, but at least it held me accountable so I could know. And then when I went up, it would be like, hey, you spent more time on this, to make you aware. And so that's the first thing I would tell you to do. Try to become aware of how much you're on social media. Just start recording it. I'm not saying change it yet. Just start recording it. Also do it for your family, right? Do it for your kids. I think sometimes we as parents, and this is no judgment, sometimes we allow us when we're tired and we just need a break, just like we used to do back in the day, allow the TV to babysit our kids. We also allow social media too. Nowadays, you got 1 and 2 year olds with phones. And they say, well, what do they do it for? Oh, well, I put it on, social YouTube, or I put it on, TikTok or whatever. And I'm just like, so we've gotten to a culture where this is the norm. Immerse them in this. And when we need a break, They can be quiet in front of these TikTok videos. They're gonna be quiet in front of these YouTube videos. We got to be super careful with that because we're creating a early dependency on this culture of social avoidance, I call it, right? And so and even when they get there that younger, they discover more things that you don't even know about. That's how they get into the cyberbullying, and that's how they get into like I don't like Snapchat. That's my personal opinion. Especially I don't like it for kids. I think that it's a very sneaky app. I'm sorry. I know a lot of them love it, and I feel like the reason they love it is really shady. But that's just my personal opinion. But you have all these things that's happening that you don't even know that's going on with your kids. You got to be super, super careful. Yolanda, I know what it is. They be trying to talk to anybody like it's no big deal. And I know what type of stuff happens, trust from experience. Um, so first thing is assess how much you're using social media, assess how much your family members, people you care about, so that you can't don't be going and ask your auntie how much she use social media. You don't want to get cussed out. I'm saying if you have kids in your house that are underage, you need to be checking in with them and know how much they're using it. Just assess it, right? And if you're married, have a spouse, you probably should want to know how much they're using. I'm not saying you what is that called? Govern them. Like restrict them. I'm just saying you should probably want to know that it's important because it does tell things about your mental health. Okay, so after you assess it, that's the first thing you do. The second thing you should do is decide what's necessary and what's recreational, right? So for example, I do this live on here. So sometimes I have to do advertising and things like that. So sometimes I have to be on, right? Other times it's completely recreational. Sometimes I'm doing market research, but most times it's completely recreational. So the reality is I need to be hyper aware of how I'm using it. Because it definitely can start off as work and end up me just hanging out on apps, right? It can start off good intention and still just go and roll into something and now I'm sitting on here and I'm supposed to be in the bed because I'm dead tired and now I'm scrolling for an additional hour and a half on social media. Definitely can be something that is hyper counterproductive, right? Also, when we talk about counterproductive, figure out what you have to do. Like, what is the things that's important in your life? For example, I remember I have a friend who would always tell me that they would be a little late to work because the first thing they do is scroll through social media. And I used to laugh, but I remember one day after they said it, again, the power of influence. I remember being in the bathroom and then getting ready for work in the morning and then kind of looking at a video and then getting caught up in the same thing. And it slowed me down and I didn't realize it. And I was like, let me turn this off before I'm late, And so, or I'm supposed to do a homework assignment and I'm letting avoidance and procrastination and distraction through social media keep me from doing what I need to do. Or let's be honest, I want to spend more time with somebody that I love and care about. And sometimes when it's a difficult thing to do, I'll run and just kind of hide in social media because guess what? That's just easier. But guess what? You have to make the hard I challenge you to make the hard decisions. When your teenager is acting extra bratty and you like, you know what? You go on your side of the house and I go on my side of the house and let's just not talk to each other for the rest of the night because I might snatch you. That might sound like the right thing to do in that moment. But if it's the right thing to do in that moment, what happens if it's the right thing to do the next 2 moments and then the next 5 moments? And then now you in a house with somebody that you barely know because you have allowed them to bury their kid in their phone and you have buried yours in your phone, not because you want to, but because you find it difficult to talk to them because they're going through that weird stage. It's easier sometimes, and I understand because I've done it. But sometimes it's like, okay, let me shut this off and I need to know what's going on with my child. And if that means a difficult conversation that might turn into an argument, then so be it. so be it. Sometimes you got to go in there, disrupt them in that game and say, what you doing? Come talk to me. How's life? Mom, you're so annoying. Mom, that's okay. Come talk to me. Turn the phone off for a minute. Especially when my son was much younger, I would tell him to turn off. It's like, hey, you can't do, it's no screen time for right now. It's time for us to, literally interact. And it's hard sometimes. I remember somebody used to say they wouldn't let their kids use the phone while they were at the table. And that's really good. Or if there were important events. It's so hard nowadays because people use their phone for everything. I used to try to take the phone away from my son at church, but then we used the Bible app on the church at church. So it's like so weird. But now instead of me trying to take things away, I mean, my son's in college now, so I don't take anything away. But what I would do instead of me trying to be, now I don't compete with it. What I do instead is I say, hey, you have plenty of time on that when I'm not around. Like, give me my time, right? And then I do the same for him. When I'm with him, I don't disrespect him by being all on my phone. I don't care who it is. I don't care how important it is, unless it's work or unless I tell people very clearly, my child is here or my sister here or my mom is here. Like, this is my time, and I'm not going. That's something we have to be careful too. Do not waste valuable time, and waste people's energy and their presence. And an opportunity to be in their presence by jumping on the phone just because of habit. You don't even mean to disrespect them, but you can easily disrespect them. I think one of the most disrespectful things I've ever seen is when I'm on a date. I haven't been on a date in a while, but when I'm on a date and then somebody jump on their phone, I'd be like, I might as well, my mind be like, this date is over. I'm done. If they don't have a good excuse for them looking at their phone, and especially if they look at it more than once or twice, baby, I'm done. Because if I can't keep your attention on this first date where we're supposed to be trying to impress each other, then what? What are we doing here? Girl, yeah, it's happened to me too. Listen, what are we doing here? If I'm seeing somebody and they're literally, or if somebody, I really want to see you, and they get here and they in their phone more than they talking to me, what are we doing here? Because my time is valuable. Okay, that's the boundary for me. Yep, you will not be in my presence and request my time and then disrespect me by and I don't know if it's always on purpose. It doesn't really matter though. You need to be more self-aware. You need to get off the crutch of your phone. So I said the first thing is to assess how much time you spend on the phone and social media. Second thing you need to do is assess what you really need to be doing. What are the things you really need to be accomplishing in life? Is there something you need to do? Are you supposed to be writing a book? Are you trying to pursue purpose? Are you wanting to do another job? Are you back in school? Are you trying to be more connected to your family? Are you trying to travel more? Do you need more money? So maybe you need to work more. 100 million things to do. And people want to make excuses about, oh, this is my time to unwind. That's fine. But I'm just saying, instead of using 4 hours of social media to unwind, maybe we condense it to 1 or even 30 minutes, a day versus, because what you don't realize is this 10 minutes here, this 30 minutes here, this hour here, it adds up. And if you look at it, you'll see how much time you're really spending on it. And you'll be like, ooh. So me talking about I don't have any time to do something, you'll start to realize how much you are bleeding out your energy onto social media. Okay. Or you're letting social media, like, again, be a filler in place of things you really can do. Right. So that's the second thing we did. So once we, assess what we really need to be doing in life, it sounds easy enough. It sounds just like, oh, I want to lose weight, and so I'm going to just change my mind about eating well. How many people have tried to lose weight and they realize it don't go like that? Because guess what? Your mind has been programmed for years and years and years to do what it wants to do. So you just waking up one day and say, I'm going to eat differently and I'm going to work out every day. It doesn't work like that. And if it has worked out for you, kudos. But to the average person, it just doesn't work out like that. You've had to be like fed up and ready and just determined to go that route. Otherwise, it's a lot of trial and error. So to wake up one day and just say, I'm no longer going to allow social media to rule me, it sounds good. It sounds wonderful. But let's just be honest about the fact that it really can, it can really be hard to do it. So instead of us trying, just like you try to say, I'm going to quit smoking after 20 years, cold turkey. Very admirable if you can do it. Average person can't do it. It's a very strong addiction. So then it's like, okay, what are the little steps we're going to do to take towards it? Well, I think that one of the best things I could do was to try to just reduce how much time I was spending on there, or just to be conscious of it, like record the screen time, like, and kind of try to limit myself. They actually have apps that help you limit it if you need that type of assistance, right? So that's something that you can do. I liked at one point there was this one app that you could for your kids you could put on their phone and say that after they've had a certain amount of time a day, it just shut it off. I'm sure the kids hate it, but for parents, it can make them feel a little bit better about the fact that they're being governed and it's not overkill, right? Um, um, oh, you spent some time writing for your books. Listen, girl, that is so amazing. I think that's amazing. See, you took some good time for yourself to do that. And I'm telling you, if you don't take the time to do it, it can be robbed and you'll be like, why didn't I do what I need to do? So yeah, that's perfect. I'm glad that you started that, girl. Look, I'm clapping for you. I need you to get that done. Listen, that's inspiring to me. Sorry, I'm not going to tell you about what I need to be doing. But yes, absolutely, that's awesome. Yeah, and you say you've also started limiting your stuff on my social media. Listen, you have to. You literally have to, and it's not easy. So, like, start with just limiting what you do and how much you're doing on there. And then let me tell you something else that will help me too. Sometimes do a cold turkey fast. Now, I said it's not easy to just stop all of a sudden, but sometimes you have to kind of interrupt a pattern. Meaning, all right, I know I ate whatever I wanted forever for 10 years, but let me just start eating healthy and so I could change the whole idea of what I how I'm doing life so I can get a different a result. Okay, let me just tell y'all what's happening right now. I see a bug and it's way too close to me. I'm pretty sure I don't know what type of bug this is. I hope it's not a cicada. I think it has wings. I'm gonna let y'all know as soon as this thing start flying, I'm gonna run. I'm trying not to be as scared as I am. We talked about phobias last week. This thing is testing me. This is the devil. I'm trying to tell y'all because why would this thing come in my house? How did it get in my house? And I'm trying to finish up. So I'm gonna speed this up. Okay, I love y'all. I'm having a whole anxiety situation right now. Y'all have no idea. So anyway, yes, and so try to do a social media fast, even if it's like 5 days without it. See how it does, or try to do 30 days. That's like what I did before. It was amazing and it helped me out so much. And then I was able to limit my time after that, right? Um, yes, I'm looking at the bug and I don't care what y'all say. I love you too, girl, but I'm literally about to get off this thing because I can't even take this right now. But I hope this helped you guys. I really hope that you got some insight and that you just are more what's it called? You are more aware of what you're doing and how it can interfere with your life and how it could really change patterns. I think some people that are like introverts, they say they're introverts and I don't know if that's it. I think sometimes they were raised on on some of the stuff to be less social. And I think that we kind of classify everything. And I think that if we work on we need people. So work on our social interactions, we won't we'll be able to develop those parts a little bit more and have a little less problems um, being interacting with people and having relationships. Okay. I love you guys. Thanks for rocking with me, Yolanda. I appreciate you, girl. Thanks for anybody who popped in. If you just came on, I'm getting off now. You can always watch the replay. Let me know what you think. Put your comments in there. I'm reading them. I always respond. But yeah, this is something I feel like we need to talk about. And just think about it. Just reassess and don't be surprised if again you use it way more than you know, and it can cause anxiety, it can cause depression, it can cause paranoia. Get it, Onyx. Okay, I told y'all I had to get out. I love y'all. You are enough, but I got to get out this room. I love y'all. My cat about to get this bug. Okay, see y'all later.